and you got 2 cameras on you. We're gonna edit this into a music video for you.
Oh, wow. All right.
I just gave Danny extra work, but
all right.
I've been voluntold.
Let's see.
Wait, hold on, not yet. Which camera do you want him looking into, Danny? What's the close-up? That one?
Okay. All right. Still take one. I guess whatever you get in this life, you take, huh? To my soul, I will find you, no Neeson. All the oxygen out of my lungs you have taken. Love, the man without one. I don't doubt that I will search my life until I found one. Only reason I can think of is because I know what it is like to have one. Part 1 is from the heart. I know that sounds dumb, but you only get half of me or get none of me. The other half was in pieces that were taken from me. That's a lie, I apologize. I willingly gave them to them sirens and them fireflies. I just get defensive when my character is ostracized. I swear I'm a real boy, or maybe a normal guy. I just want to be a good man, if that still exists. Hold on, let me check my Instagram. They call it feminist. Mom call it dead weight. Ladies call it heaven sent. Everybody seems to have this number. I can't dial it in. Did they hand it out at local bars or at sports events? Where can you apply for your man card? I'd like to file again. I might have to falsify because opinions are important though. Much less about who you are, more who you know. Might have to cross out that I performed in musicals. Multiply by 5 the number of women I slept with, that is crucial so you find me more appealing. Am I good now? If I sag my pants and pick a color, am I hood now? If I pray and don't believe in God, do I still look down? What I gotta do to make the people in this room proud? Who smiles when they know the hell of it? Life and all its evidence. I can't even find a reason why I should settle with this vision that's a sign declining, losing sight of what is evident, ceasing to exist. Suicide is my preference, but I decided that I choose to fight when it's harder. And if I was Adam, I would never bite in the garden, even if that meant that I would lose my wife and my heart at night. I wish that I could hit some kind of rewind and just start again. Still take one.
Unfortunately, it's very dark and rough, but we'll get to the last part. Yeah. So, born to a drug addict, prostitute mother. Mm-hmm. I was actually born with cocaine in my bloodstream in a significant amount to where I was monitored by doctors from an early age. Father was in jail, so he wasn't there for my birth, and I actually never met him. I spoke to him once on the phone. That was a very interesting phone call in 8th grade. But I was adopted 3 days after birth. Okay. So, and my mom passed away. My biological mom passed away 6 months after I was born. So I never got to really talk to her or really even be held by her. So that kind of has haunted me. And then I've been with my family ever since, and it's been rough to put it in a word, I guess. I was physically and emotionally abused growing up, and I just always felt like an outsider. The rest of my family is very athletic and whatnot, and I was very creative, and it was always a clear divide. I would never be invited to, family occasions, even smaller ones, birthday parties, things like that. I'd be an afterthought. Oh, why weren't you there, Justin? I didn't know it was happening. Yeah, even to this day, it's still that same instance, unfortunately. And around 3rd grade, 3rd grade is an early time to be so sad and feeling pain and whatnot, but I felt depressed as whatever a 3rd grader can feel like that, and it was just from all these things happening at the same time. So that's when I started writing. From 3rd grade on, I've had tens, if not hundreds, of little notebooks that I've filled to the brim with writing and poems and song lyrics and things of that nature. But just because I never had support from my family, they've never even came to a performance of mine. So it's a matter of, I never knew how to, I never had that kick to really go and chase my dream. In 8th grade, I met my best friend, and he was also into music, but again had that same instance where we didn't know what we were doing. We were just writing songs and whatnot. So, and from there, it just continued to grow. My passion for it, my writing, everything, but also the pain continued to grow. So I was again continuously abused physically and emotionally, even through high school, and it really just took a toll on me, to the point where I stole my best friend's gun in my junior year, and he didn't realize it that night. It was the night of my first solo performance. It was like a male pageant at my high school, and it was horrible. As I finished performing this song, it was kind of like a pity clap. So it was that. Yeah. And I went backstage and actually passed out, like unconscious on the ground. And after that, I walked home for 5 miles. It was February, so freezing cold out. My friends, drove up in the car and forced me in at some point. Got to their house, etc. And I was just like, I need to be alone. So on my way out of the house, I saw in his coat that he had his firearm, and I took it. And that night, I just stared at it for hours. And he was calling me. He knew I was in a bad place, and he knew what was happening. But he was calling me. He didn't know where I was, and I just stared at it. It was weird. My niece, she was also adopted by my family. She had a rough life growing up. Her mom had her at age 13, but she was 4 years older than me, so she was always who I looked up to, my savior. She would steal me away from school. We'd go to the movies. She would show me the best new music. She introduced me to Kanye West. That was amazing. Harry Potter, everything. It was fantastic. And her and I, we would just go back and forth. She was a writer, more in the author sense, and we just kind of fed off each other's energy. Whenever we were sad or upset, we would turn to each other and help build each other up. She ended up joining the Navy, and it was a month before she was finishing her 4-year contract. So she was actually already out, and it was New Year's. And, New Year's, you call all your family, Happy New Year's, wish you the best year of your life and things like that. We called her because she was off in San Diego. We were in Northwest Indiana. Called her, Happy New Year's, etc. Just talking throughout the night. The next day, the Navy come to her mother's house with a flag in their hands, and she had killed herself that night. This was 2015. So it was too much. That night I had no words. And so there was a funeral, and the Navy also had a funeral for her at her base in San Diego. We returned from San Diego February 4th, February 6th is when my band decided to have this instance with me. The same night that my band had that instance, my aunt had been put in the hospital by her son, who had beat her with her cane. The same night, the girl I was in love with told me I was the worst thing that ever happened to her and to stay away from her. And then on top of that, my niece's birthday was just 6 days prior to that, so it was so many emotions. And someone had called the cops before I was able to tie a knot, and I was hospitalized that night. 3 days, and went on medication after medication, etc. Just at that point, it was just numbness for me. You know, life continued, no band. My music suffered, my life suffered, dropped out of school. Things were just in a spiral, and ended up moving in with a girlfriend. And, you know, I thought I was just on this complacency ride through life. And it was actually 2017, so just a couple years ago, that my girlfriend, who I moved in with, etc., actually the same one who said she never wanted to speak to me again that night, we ended up being together, etc. By this time, she had cheated on me, and it was just everything replayed in my head. The past 20-something years of my life, all the pain, everything of that nature, and my brain just shut off. And so now I have this scar on my wrist that reminds me every day of that moment that I thought there was nothing left. And so from that day, I'm in the ambulance, looking down at the bone in my wrist, because that's how far a pair of scissors actually cut. Thinking, what is my life? Why did I let all of this happen to me? Or not even let it happen to me. Why did I give it the power over me? And so from that moment, I promised myself that if I'm not loving whatever it is I'm doing, I won't do it. And that's the only way I've been able to keep myself moving forward. So from there, it's just been a focus on music, creating connections with people, and trying to love my life. But the music's always been an extension of that pain. So you can hear it in every song, even the one I performed yesterday, which is like I said, my first performance was horrific, and I got a standing ovation last night. That was incredible, and something I would never imagine happening. But in that song itself, someone actually came up to me as we were ending, and she said she cried because she could feel the raw emotion, the pain. And that's the goal for me and my music, is to show, or there's power in music. I always look back to Michael Jackson, one of my biggest influences. When he did We Are the World or Man in the Mirror, those are like global phenomenons that, you know, impacted people's lives, and it was music. And music can change someone's psychology. Music can help someone who's on the edge back off of a cliff, or you know, put down the gun. Music can have that power if you give it that power, if you share it, and you share your story, you share your pain. Not only show other people that, you know, they're not alone, you've been there, but also show them there's a way out, there's a way to be happier, there's a way to feel joy. So that's where my music stems from, and that's where I as a person stem from. So yeah, that's basically my story. But where I'm stuck is how to get my message out there and expand. Because of course, you know, it feels amazing to help the one or two individuals, but I want to help the world as much as possible. I know there's many people struggling with depression. There's many people who've gone through the foster care system, or you know, had abuse in their life, and there's many people who can be helped by my message. I just don't know how to reach them. So that's where I need some assistance. Yeah. If you have any.
Yeah.
For that.
I'm just sitting listening to your story. Like, you know, thanks for sharing.
Of course.
And every time you share it, it has a chance to reach somebody else. and touch them in a way. You know, I'm fortunate I didn't have any abuse growing up. I had the greatest parents of all time.
That's awesome.
But so talking about abuse, nobody's going to listen to me on that. I can give some generic advice, but like you having lived through it, they're going to connect with your story much more than mine. I can help you with other stuff. I would say that maybe just a quick reframe of how you see your music. I wouldn't call it an extension of the pain. I would call it as your healing from the pain, your therapy from the pain. Because when you, even from 3 years old, or third grade, when you're struggling with the demons, the solution is to write. So it's the therapy, it's the path through.
Yeah.
Art makes people feel, whether it's a book or a song or a video. Great art makes people feel because it should come from a real place.
Yeah.
If you're just like, whatever, I'm going to write some lyrics down, that song's going to tank.
Yeah.
It's got to come from a place of like some heightened emotion. It doesn't have to be a dark one, but it's some heightened emotion. You might make a gratitude song, and that's a fire one, as long as you're feeling it.
Yeah.
Right? So I would look at the art as a positive, as the healing, not as an extension of the negativity that you went through. I think the path through is you create, like you're doing it. You're already doing it. You just need to stay consistent and keep doing it.
Yeah.
How are you going to impact millions of people? By doing what you're doing each and every day. By creating a song every day and releasing it.
Yeah.
Take one of those things you've written down in your archive, and whether it's a full-on song or whether it's just a hook or just a couple bars, and you release it. And that maybe becomes something else, or maybe it just ends with that song right there where it is. But every day releasing something.
Every day creating, every day releasing.
Every day creating, every day releasing. Like even your morning, whatever you're singing to, if there's anything different in the song in the morning, like, that was okay.
Yeah.
Record it and post it, right?
Yeah.
The consistency of just releasing a song a day. You've got talent, right? Like we saw your talent last night. You got the standing ovation. There were no like pity claps happening last night. So it's great. And you're wasting your talent. You're sitting on your talent. You should be way further ahead. You could be having a bigger impact. But because of the fear, you're not doing enough. So for other people, it's, you need to do it more to get the skill. Right? Like you have an ambition, but you're just not good at the thing yet. When I wanted to make YouTube videos, I wasn't good at it. I sucked at it. And by making videos every day, I got better. I acquired the skill. You already have the skill, but you're sitting on it. Like if you had started doing this 10 years ago, you'd have your deal. You'd have your contract. You'd have a totally different life. And that's not a kick down. It's like, okay, yeah, great. Everybody has their own demons and fears and insecurities that they have to battle. But you're still a young dude. You still got tons of runway ahead. It's like, I'm not going to waste the next 10 years of my life doing the same thing on repeat. Yeah. Right? So it's releasing a song a day, and someone will pick it up. Like if you're good and you keep working on it, someone will pick it up and it'll lead to opportunities that you never thought were possible. I started to make my videos, and I get asked to speak in Brunei, and I get asked to speak in all sorts of crazy places. Yeah. I get book deals. I get lots of opportunities that come at me just because I'm making content that I believe in. Right? I don't wait on being the sales guy saying, hey, like knocking on doors, making phone calls. I just create my art. My art's different than your art, but it's still art. And I release my art, and I believe that's the emotion I get out of my content. Yeah. Right? So other people resonate with it. You watch it, like, yeah, that's cool. I like that video. And then that creates a community, and that creates opportunities. I win because I've got so much content out there, and they're not all hits. Yeah. There's a bunch that just flop and go nowhere. It's okay. Like most of them flop and go nowhere. But every time you release a song, it's another ticket. And maybe only 5 people hear that song, but to one of those 5, it's like a super deep, meaningful song. Right? Like the song you performed last night, nobody had heard of before. Right? Yeah. It's like it's an original, your song. Nobody heard it before in that room. And then you got people standing up and crying and like clapping you up because it touched them. No, there's other people who sat down and didn't, you know, like, oh, yeah. But like maybe they couldn't keep up with the words and it was too fast for them. And they're not going to go buy your album or subscribe to you. Right? It's okay. Yeah. Great. But like you got 5 more people interested in you. And that's what happens with every song that you put up. Every song is a new chance. And some of them will blow up and pop. Yeah. Right? And that's when you get real attention. But you don't know. I think I love every video I put up. I think it's great. Every one. Every single one. And then I get like, wow, why did that one pop and the other ones didn't? If I had to bet from the start of like which one I would have picked, I would not have picked some of the ones that have gone on to crush it hard. So you love every song and you put it up and release imperfect things. Yeah. Just those 2 things. You have everything else. It's daily song release and leaning into the fear of judgment. Just do those 2 things because you got everything else already lined up for you. You did that every day for the next year, your life is going to be unrecognizable. I'll come back to Indy in a year and be like seeing you on covers and like you got your first deal and it's going to happen. You'll get opportunities thrown at you because they want to work with the talent. Like if you had a Believe song, I would look at how do I put it onto one of my intros? Like the Espresso song. I wake up every morning, right? That's from a fan, right? He made that. Wow. He had a different song. It's called Morning because wake up every morning and like my girlfriend keeps me going or something. I said, hey, I like it, but I can't do anything with that. It doesn't really fit if you could just say Espresso keeps me going. It's like, yeah, I got you. I can do that. Yeah. Great. So we put it up and then we link him up in the description of the videos and people going, they want the song. Like, man, I love that song. How do I find that song? Right? Like we help put them on. And now I'm doing it with 3 other artists of trying to fit a song that they have that's catchy that I like, but then also customizing some of the lyrics so that it fits the series. But then you put them on. You link in the description, right? You want to see this artist? Go find the rest, right? One of them is even making a whole other version. So he's got his song, and then we're messing with the lyrics a bit to fit the theme. Yeah. But then he's like, I like that. I'm gonna make a whole other version. Song. Like it's the same beat and the same cadence and this.
You got 2 cameras.
But then just version A and version B, awesome. Right? I think it's great. I think it's wild, man. I love it. And I'm happy to help promote, right? So you had a crazy Believe rap that like fits one of the series. Let's put it on and make it like the theme song, the anthem for that series, right? The next Espresso song, right?
The funny thing is when I actually have written one for Believe, and the title is called One Word. Okay. And I used Nas's One Mic beat. Okay. To rap over it. Okay. And I was like, man, I should really record it and send it to him. He's probably gonna think it's horrible. But, yeah. And so I just never did it. It's just sitting in my phone, waiting to be recorded and released to the world. And
that's what you need to destroy. Yeah. I believe that idea was given to you for a reason, and you need to go off and do it. You get an idea. I want to record. It sounds wild, right? Yeah. Like I'm gonna record this thing and send it to this guy that I like on YouTube. And great, just go do it. just do it. Like just get out of your way and just do it while you're feeling that, because you might spend the rest of that day planning on how you do it, but then you wake up tomorrow a different person, and you've lost the momentum, right? So just trust it. Get the idea, boom. Get out of your way. You can plan, but the planning will come later. Yeah. Just do the thing, right? Yeah. Like to actually turn it into a song that may work for me, as an example, we may have to go back and we have to edit some of the lyrics. Some of the beat may not work if it's somebody else's. Who knows? Exactly. Who knows? Right? All that planning will come, but like build the momentum. Yeah. Take immediate action. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's like every day, wake up, record a new song, put it out there, lean into judgment every single time, and when you get an idea, just go and execute on it. That's it. You did that every day, dude. Your life is gonna be totally different. You've already done the hardest part, which is turning a life of negativity and finding a path. It's easy for guys like you to just spiral downwards and never figure out a way out, right? And maybe music was the thing that picked you up. If it was MJ or somebody else that like made you feel like there's hope. But that's the scariest and the hardest part, not spiraling down, right? Not letting that ambulance ride like be the last ride, right? You found positivity out of it. Now you can spread it. And I've got my mom's voice in my ear who'd say, if you have the ability, then you have the responsibility, right? Like you can, so you must. You can help people. You can use your story to uplift people. And maybe you get to MG level one day, or maybe not. But whether you're helping, if you can help 5,000 people, it's 5,000 lives. Like that's real. And maybe that becomes 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million, right? Or 10 million, or who knows? But you have the ability, so you have the responsibility. You've done the most difficult thing already. Now it's just being consistent on the small actions every day. And I want my anthem, dude.
I'll get it.
Give me my anthem. We have the One Rule series. Right? It could be the anthem for the One Rule series. And it's a 20-second max hook.
Yeah.
Right? And we'd have to make it fit within that. And then maybe you release a whole One Rule song, right? That then people can go download and mess with. And then they're in your world. And then they're subscribing to you on YouTube and SoundCloud and wherever you're releasing your content. IG. That's how it happens.
Love.
Cool, man. Time to get to work. I love it, dude.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Hey, Evan. Just wanted to say thank you again for the opportunity to come to your event, learn so much, and the even more special opportunity to talk with you one-on-one. It was incredible, and I feel so much more ready for life now. So thank you, and I can't wait to see what my future looks like once I implement everything that we talked about. It's been amazing, and I will see you again, and I will always continue to believe. All right, peace, love, and music.
If you want some one-on-one time with me to ask me whatever questions are on your mind, as well as get a whole bunch of free bonuses, go click the website next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.